24.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. Good morning. Glad that you're with us here today. Ray Higdon is on the line with us this morning. Ray is the author of several books, including a new one. I want to talk to Ray about this, The Faith-Driven Network Marketer. And we're going to get to that. Conversation this morning brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. The reason we're talking to Ray this morning is because of this report about Generation Z workers, younger folks, and maybe the boomers or older folks for whom they work, and the expectations between the two groups. Sometimes those just don't match up. Ray, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you with us here today. It is a different world in which, these young folks, they're moving into the workforce, and they're the ones that are going to take us into the next generation. They go about things differently than we do, don't they?
They do. They do. And listen, not every aspect of their life needs to be, corrected and conformed, but I believe this is one area where it does.
Yeah. We're talking punctuality, first of all, and whether it's okay to show up 10 minutes late for work. What is late by today's definition versus what is late by the definition of the people who actually are signing the paychecks. And those are two different things, unfortunately, in this day and age, and it creates some workplace conflict.
It does. And, at the end of the day, you really, as a boss or as a business owner, you want to care about your people enough to have conversations that they may not want to have. Because the reality is, the higher you go in your career, or the higher up the corporate ladder, or even as an entrepreneur, you not respecting other people's times or other people's expectations is going to cost you. And so to have the tough conversation with the people that work with you and say, hey, listen, I see you strolling in here 10 minutes late. That's not our culture, and it's not a culture that will serve you long term. I had some great bosses. Some of them, were tough on me, but I actually needed to hear it. It served me later on. So you do have to care about your employees to have this kind of conversation.
That's been an emphasis of our Indiana County Chamber of Commerce here, as they actually go into the various school districts and they teach what are called soft skills, however you want to term them. And one of the biggest things that is hardest to get through is timeliness, and the idea that your time is no less valuable than anybody else's time, and respecting that is a really big key. And the ones who learn that are the ones who are going to advance maybe faster and further, right?
No question. And, today, it just takes, it's less and less that has you stand out. And, the people that show up on time are naturally going to have an advantage over those that don't when it comes to promotions, making more money, having more favor in the office or in the workplace. And so it doesn't take a whole lot here, but you having this conversation, it will actually serve them. You got to care enough to mentor them.
Yeah, the exciting thing about it is that when you get that young person who doesn't roll his or her eyes at the idea of being on time, then you got to keep her.
That's right. And the level of your culture dictates who stays around your company. If, when you are allowing any kind of behavior based on however they feel, you are not going to be a high-producing company or high-producing division of your business. And so, you can't pay higher wages if that's the case. Having these kind of conversations combined with not being the lowest paid gig, in town, is how you create great culture.
Tell me about how it got to this point. When did young folks stop paying attention to some of the things that have long been real bedrocks of American business?
Man, we could go back to, when, people started, not honoring the Bible as much. We could go there. We could go to parenting. We could go to programming and agendas. But at the core issue is that a lot of Gen Z, people, they believe that however they feel is how it should be, and no one else has ever taught this. How we feel often didn't really matter, and it's not that their feelings don't matter, but there are certain situations like this one, just this plain punctuality, that does matter in their career, and they will not. You're not going to get into a high position or have favor in your career without at least doing the minimal here of showing up on time.
You've said a couple of things that have led me to wanting to talk about the faith-driven network marketer. Now, this is a book that you've just written. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I help companies with their teams. A lot of times they're sales teams, and I also work and help the network marketing industry where you have a lot of entrepreneurs. My last job was 19 years ago, and I went out on my own and I started my business and have been running that ever since. And so what the book does is it helps equip people who feel like they're called to have more freedom in their life and create their own kind of business. And I came to Christ 19 months ago, and for me it changed everything. And so I wrote a book that talks about how do you be a successful marketer and a successful entrepreneur while putting God as a priority.
How does faith unlock those doors?
Oh man, in so many ways, And by the way, I'm from Indiana. I'm originally from Seymour, Indiana.
We're in Indiana, Pennsylvania, so.
Okay. Oh, that's funny. I'm sorry. And so, there's a lot of ways in that we can make all our decisions, logically, right? Mm-hmm. And some of them will be good, and some of them won't. I got the chance to meet David Green. He's the founder of Hobby Lobby, and as a kid, he dreamed of being a dime store manager because that would have made him the most successful person in his family. Instead, he starts Hobby Lobby and has 45,000 employees in 1,000 locations. And he said, my life changed when I started praying on every major and minor decision in my life. And so when you enter the marketplace and, honoring God is not just on, Sunday for 90 minutes or an hour, but it's like, okay, let me pray on every decision that I'm making. You'll be led to make decisions you wouldn't have made, but pan out. And I've had that happen so many times. And so, do we get our source and significance from our money and how much net worth, we have, which a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs do, or do we find our identity with Him and understand that money is a resource and it's to be stewarded? And so it's just a very different way of looking at business and serving others, because we are called to serve others.
Well, it's interesting that we can bring this all back around to where we started talking about folks and respecting the time considerations of others. It really comes to the concept of selflessness, which is one of the key core concepts that Jesus taught.
Sure, absolutely right. He said, for you to be first, you need to be last. And most people we put ourselves first. I'll do this, but only if you do that. And what am I going to get out of this? And we're not taught that kind of way of thinking. And but it's just so powerful when you serve others, when you do unto others as you would have them do unto you. God puts favor in your life, and all of a sudden doors open that couldn't have been opened any other way. And it's just been a blessing to teach people these concepts that I've been learning these last 2 years.
Well, this has been a great conversation because we started in one neighborhood, ended up in another neighborhood that took us right back to that first place, and so it is all connected, and we're happy to learn about it. So tell me where we get the Faith-Driven Network Marketer.
Yeah, it is. It's right on Amazon. We released it last month, and there's a lot of great reviews on there. And so you can get it right on Amazon, or you can go to the link rayhigdongroup.com/book, and that'll take you right to the Amazon listing.
Beautiful. He is Ray Higdon joining us this morning from, where'd you say, Naples, Florida?
I live in Naples, Florida.
Yeah, what's it like there today?
It's been extremely hot.
Mm-hmm.
Today looks like it's going to be a hot one. I would, probably 100 degrees.
There you go. Well, we're going to be in the mid 80s today, which is warm enough for us.
That is perfect. That's perfect.
It's not hundreds like there in Florida, but we appreciate your time here this morning. We're going to check out the Faith Driven Network Marketer by Ray Higdon. Ray, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great day.
You too.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com.